rerouted to an area of the Yucatan, just off the coast of where you were actually currently holed up on the Blatant Lie, a Delphi Council supply ship. And the issue was that some unusual activity that did not suit the area had been seen. Specifically, there were suspicions of a Nile Empire incursion. So you disembarked, headed back to land, had an encounter with a shark that you dealt with, an encounter with a local Dinos who had been affected weirdly by something in his village. You then went on to the same village and determined that the thing in the middle of the village, while not exactly what you were sent to investigate, did seem to be a talisman of some kind, a device that was emitting the Nile Empire reality out to a significant distance, 100 or so meters. You managed to convince the natives to give you their idol, because it was something they were worshipping, seeing as it did have a reptilian appearance. I believe, Abram, you identified it as an idol about 3 feet tall of Sebek, the Egyptian god.
Or Jeff.
Yeah, or Jeff, yeah. You continued to head upriver, where you encountered what the cause of the Nile Empire suspicions in the area was: a dig site around the base of a step pyramid that was being manned by Nile Empire shock troops and some Gospog who were actually doing the digging. You investigated briefly and determined that what they were trying to dig up was small volcanically fused bits of glass, which you ultimately determined, as a result of some exposition from the bad guy who turned up in his Zeppelin, to be tektites. The Cloud Master, the commander of the aforementioned dread Zeppelin, reeled off in classic villain exposition that he had been sent here by his lord and master, the mighty Pharaoh Dr. Mobius, to recover what must be a trove of possibility energy, because you are in the area of the meteorite strike that is one of the theorized reasons for the extinction of the dinosaurs. And to quote what the Cloudmaster said, anything that had that big of an impact, that big of a change to the world's history, must be invested with possibility energy in some way, shape, or form. A grande melee then broke out with, what's the opposite of a grande melee when it's at ranged? A shootout as well occurred. A firefight, yes, occurred. Many Gosbog went down. Many stormtroopers were dealt with. The inaugural run of the Nile Empire Raptor Brigade was brought to a halt. Some people had their worldviews relatively badly shaken, but recovered from it. Durak.
Pardon?
Your local friendly Dinos, Astanra, and his tame baby Ankylosaur assisted you as well. And in the last moments of the previous session, the Cloudmaster was pecked, plucked, grabbed from his perch atop the Dread Zeppelin, which is quite high above you, about 40, 50 feet up, by a couple of Lacton, who seemed to be about to swallow him until he managed to activate his jetpack and zoomed off into the jungle, which is where we left it. Other things that did occur, Abram had a cracking shot which would have taken the Cloudmaster out in one go if he hadn't been wearing a force field. But these things do happen. So, the sound of battle fades away. The only sound that is really here is you can still hear as well as feel the deep thrumming of the Zeppelin's fans above you as it slows and begins to is adopted as sort of a slow circling attitude. What are you all doing?
We got the map.
I can do.
Where is it?
Well, should we pick up some glass and test it? Is that what you chemists think magicians meant to do? Chemists.
Oh yeah, sure. I suppose there's something to it. I don't know. Let's.
Let's get rid of the lacton who are left.
What do you... I'm not sure what you're on about with the glass.
That's why they were digging. They were digging up
Oh,
glass.
it was obsidian or something, isn't it?
Tektite, they're called.
Yeah, well, Tektite. I never heard of
Tektites,
it.
is that what
I just call it glass. Much easier. What colour is this glass though? It's not black, so that's obsidian. What colour is it?
Well, there are bits you've seen which are sort of dark grey. Some have got greenish tints to them. None of them appear to have clear uniform colours, at least the ones that you can see. The 3 or 4 holes where the Gospog were mining, you can see that these chunks of glass, and they're generally circular, are spread throughout what's now sort of clay and mud soil that they've gotten down to. There were, or there probably still are. There were 2 bins of them, sort of large, mid-sized skip type affairs that were over by the tents to the right-hand side of the dig site. One of those, however, appeared to have had taken a direct hit from the 75mm cannon that fired from the front of the Zeppelin. But on the other side, if you take time to investigate, you can find a similar set of tents, and again there's 2 or 3 partially filled bins of recovered tektites there as well.
What happens if we touch one of these things? I think there's like possibilities flow into us.
What are you doing? You're trying to touch one?
Yep.
Roll a d20.
Yeah. Can I ask if I need to roll high or do I need to roll low?
Roll a d20.
I hate you.
You pick up a piece of, I mean, it's roughly spherical. I mean, when I say roughly, it's smooth, but it's a lumpy sphere. It's not completely circular. It's sort of a bluey grey chunk of volcanic glass. You hold it up, you can just about see through it. It's probably bordering on completely opaque, but a little bit of light comes through it. It's certainly not something you could make a window out of or anything like that. But you can see when you leant over. Are you getting it from in the dig area, or are you looking in the bins for it?
Oh, I thought the bins would be in the best place.
Yeah, you're looking. You can see again. There's dozens of different colours of this stuff.
Okay, and that's it.
If you want to spend time looking, then you can give us a find check. Anybody can give us a find check. You just need to let me know if you're looking in a bin or if you're going and digging.
I will dig this time.
No, there you
go.
I'm reverting to form. You're a dwarf.
I think the bin's full of all the crap stuff, and so all the good stuff must be somewhere else. Let's see, where's fine? Oh, possibility. I want to get something. What's my skill in find? It. Dice roll was 7.
Which gives you a bonus of -2. But if you you can just add to the 6 for the find. Dr. Dick, were you looking in bins or there you go?
Yeah, bins. I'm not going to bother digging.
Okay. You spent about 3 or 4 minutes chucking through, and then for a brief second, the light of the afternoon sun catches the contents, and you see in amongst all of the sort of the grey green and sort of darker colours, you spot a sort of a more vibrant blue glint, and you quickly reach over and you grab one of these tektites, and it's a color pattern you're starting to see in lots of different things and familiar. It's the tektite you pick up is streaked through with red and blue, and in fact, as you hold it, you're getting a very similar, although much weaker vibe, as you got with the Heart of Ukan. And when I say much weaker, it's much weaker. It doesn't appear to be imparting with you any knowledge or any particular ideas that it might have any other powers. But with a few seconds of concentration, you do detect that within it is one of those self-refreshing reservoirs of possibilities that you have become familiar with because you were holding one for the longest time. Some experimentation. You're not sure how difficult it would be to tap, but you could give it a try.
Okay, what do I do then? Reality or?
If you want to, if you make a reality skill check, if you get the tapping difficulty on this one, I'll simply tell you what it is. You're not actually trying to tap it at this point. Oh, you felt like you're really close. But even though you weren't able to draw the energy out of it, you get the feeling that possibly there's enough for one attempt within this object.
All right, I'll pocket it.
Who got the next highest? And while you're looking, Durak, Theo, you're briefly distracted. Abram not looking, no? Or did you get really bad?
Oh, go on.
I go very high.
Give us a find check. You did. You got a 17. Okay, yeah, Abram doesn't notice this. Durak and Ryoko, while you're wherever you're searching, just a change in sound from above catches your attention. It's not that the sound of the rotors of the Zeppelin change, more that there are other higher pitched sounds, and you look up and you can see about 6 little mini sky scooters leaving the gondola of the dirigible, and to a man they all head off into the jungle. Durak, you noted that 2 of them were wearing what looked more like sort of maintenance overalls, whereas the other 3 or 4 looked to be dressed in the same Nile outfit. So like headdress, kilt type affair, sandals with leather strapping, stripped to the waist, ammo bandolier over the shoulder. And you note that the dirigible is now just slowly circling now, but it would seem that the crew have abandoned it.
Well, we just need to try and get up there somehow.
But if they abandoned it, there must be something wrong with it.
Yeah, but it'll be there'll be
Too many buts.
clues up there. We need to know what's going on.
Are there any? There were crew members around?
There were. They've just left on sky scooters.
So, Theo, when did you start growing the wings?
Wig?
The wings. When did you start growing the wings?
Well, I'm fairly angelic, I know, but
So how are you going to get up there then?
that's what I was wondering. I mean, how far is it up?
About 50 feet up or so.
50 feet, that's not very much. We could get a... which way is the wind blowing? Is it drifting anywhere?
Roll a d20.
And where is it now? Oh.
It's circling in... Let's put a pointer down.
So if it goes near to the top of the pyramid, not pyramid...
It's circling around that
There you go. Right, we climb up to the top of the ziggurat and leap on it as it goes past. The ziggurat's got to be 50
How
feet
big?
tall.
The cigarette won't be 50 feet tall.
Can't we call in our wasp friends?
Wasps? What wasp friend?
I know they were
Underground.
underground.
Well,
they're-
you think
Yeah, I don't think they're around.
they're in
around really.
the domed world of Meretica, which was accessible through, well, however you got there. You dove into a tree. But as you watch, it does indeed, it circles. And while it is still significantly higher, by a good 10, 15 feet or so than the top of the relatively small step ziggurat, you do notice something, Theo, as you're looking in that direction. There are about half a dozen or so guide ropes hanging off of the Zeppelin.
There you
And
go.
you see as it comes over the top of the step pyramid, you do indeed the guy ropes. A couple of them are within reach. One of them actually seems to travel slightly longer, and he's just like scraping along the baseline.
There you go. You see, the Lord provides. Let's go get it. I'm going to hurry over for the next revolution.
Give us a find check, Dirac.
A find check. Do I get bonuses?
Do you have anything that helps your hearing?
My ears.
Then no, you don't get any particular bonuses. You are not hearing any. Oh, I don't know, what would an Eilish individual's idea of a self-destruct countdown be? You're hearing the deep thrumming of the dirigible's rotors. Dr. Dick, do you want to give us another find check as you're still poking around?
Yep.
Take it I didn't find anything in the dig then.
No, you didn't. But you did get distracted by the noise from and spotted the crew leaving the dirigible.
What was the target then?
Yeah.
20 on
20?
that particular one.
Oh, waste of a possibility. Okay. They hadn't got any cards.
Oh, that reminds me. Yeah, we haven't got any cards. Okay, let's quickly wreck on that slightly. Right, cards, people. We are not under the effect of a glory event because even the shot was good, but I don't think you played a glory card on it, did you, Abram?
I didn't have a glow card.
Yeah. So we are 4 cards. Although, no, you are 5 cards because you are still under the effect of the Nile Empire reality. So, Theo, your cards to go into your hand, and we're not in combat round, so you can play them at any point, are. Takes a little longer to roll these times. Inspire, hey, glory. 3, mistaken identity, master plan, and willpower. Ryoko next. Thank you, Derek.
I have to.
Hero, idea, second chance,
Sehr good.
connection, and
Yes.
transfer. Dr. Sanders. Coup de grace. Rally. Adrenaline, alertness, and seize initiative. Abram. Nemesis. Second chance. Action. Second chance. And close call. I think that's all the second chance is gone out of the deck now.
Yeah, I'm
might
always last. I always get whatever's left over.
I don't know why. I don't know what the ordering is for because it's not in alphabetical order at the
I
top.
think it's in the order of who made their characters.
Oh, maybe. So you get alertness, second wind, drama, action, and glory.
All I needed was +3. What was it for? Mind, wasn't it? No, it's shock.
Action would have done it.
Yeah, I'll use the action.
Discard my Nemesis card to get a new card and possibility.
No, you can't.
Oh.
You can do, but somebody's going to have to use one of those at some point.
What
Are we going to get?
You might do. But anyway, no, I'm fine with you doing that this time. So have a master plan instead. Durak,
We go.
in addition to your being distracted, when you turn back, you just casually start digging in the dirt again, and your claws tink on an as yet uncovered tectite. You reach down and you pull it, and similarly to the one that Dr. Sanders found, you find another one which, in addition to whatever colour the glass is, you can see it is just vaguely streaked with red and blue stripes. Or swirls, not stripes. Stripes suggest it's like... And it is exactly the same as Dr. Dick's. It is essentially a minor eternity shard. And it can be tapped for a single possibility. But remember, the possibilities of shards refresh at the same time as your possibilities would refresh. And it has a tapping difficulty number of 14.
Tap 14, so I have to do a reality check. 14.
Reality check, simple test, 14 or more to be able to tap that possibility. Meanwhile, at the top of the pyramid,
A good time to do it right now, wouldn't it? Because I lost a possibility.
you don't. It doesn't go into your pool. You use it at that point.
Oh, okay. Right.
It's like a second pool that you can drag from. So Theo, within about 5 or 6 minutes, because it's going around quite slowly, the Zeppelin is coming around to you again. You can either jump up to grab one of the guy ropes that connects directly to the gondola, or you can grab one of the longer ones, which are the ones that are trailing down, but those actually connect up to the sort of the sides of the envelope of the airship itself. So you'll be able to climb up on that, but then you'd have to swing a bit to get to the gondola, or you could make a slightly harder jump to get onto a rope that connects to the gondola itself.
I'll jump now. I'll jump now. Yeah.
So you're going to jump. Okay, so what I need you to do is to make a strength test for me. It's only DC 10.
I'm glad
jump
it's
and
only
grab it.
DC 10 because
It's only like 3 foot up or so. Problem is, you are on the top of a step pyramid, so if you do get a mishap on this, you are going to tumble down the pyramid.
oh yeah, I'll be fine. But it's not my forte though. This. Do I roll now? Yeah.
Yep.
Here it comes. Not a mishap.
No, it's not a mishap. You can spend a possibility as well if you want to. Have you already spent a possibility? Because you're on 2.
No, I haven't.
No, you should be on 3.
Oh, in that case,
Everyone should have started on either 3 or 4, depending on perks.
in that case, I'll put it up to 3 just for the entire purpose of spending it. I can't play any cards out of my hand, can I?
Yeah, you can at this point. You're not in combat rounds, so you can play cards from wherever.
Nobody wants to. Nobody else wants to play a card, do they?
I don't have any cards to play.
Okay.
On what? You?
On anything. Well, I've got master plan, so I can pick it up again. See. Anyway.
Well, I used an action.
He has just used an action card, which will be perfect for this purpose.
Oh, what was your action card?
Action card is +3 to the score of any action, which will take you from a 7 to a 10.
Oh, go on then. Yeah, I didn't realise that was an action card. Oh yeah, because you don't drop them in, do you? I see. Okay, so in that case, I want to get that action card and take it to a 10, if I may, and have my possibility back.
Yep, so you master plan. You pick up any card last played or discarded in exchange for this one.
It's part of my master plan is grabbing onto this this rope.
And you do indeed. So there's a brief second where you're thinking you're about to lose, but then the wind picks up, the rope flexes slightly, 3 or 4 more inches of it go down into your hand, so you grab and then you drag yourself up hand over hand. Let me get the right one. Not that one there. When I got there. So, Theo, you pull yourself up, hand over hand. And while there don't appear to be any doors on here, there are. Hopefully the scale's right. Yay! So you pull yourself up through. There's actually walkways all around the outside as well. So you pull yourself up onto a sort of just like a not wire, but crenellated metal sort of walkway going all the way around like a catwalk.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much in the way of any handholds though, so it doesn't. It's obviously whoever designed this came from the Star Wars school of safety barriers, because just like the Death Star, there aren't any. You pull yourself up and you're confronted with quite a nicely built wrought metal and what looks like mahogany doorway in front of you.
This map was lovingly created by you,
Mm-hmm.
and it took you ages. It's got to be worth a possibility making me way to go up here and explore your. Oh, okay, maybe not. All right, well, I'll go up to the door. Can I?
It is not locked.
It's not locked. Okay, I will open it. It's on the side.
Okay, so as you're stepping in there, it appears it's quite warm inside, but you think that might just be because of the atmosphere around. It's well appointed. It is in fact sort of like quite nice wood laminate flooring across where you are. It's quite opulent in its decoration where you are at the moment. So to sort of like the half-decked walls with a nice dido rail and a nice flock wallpaper across the top. You can see that there are pictures every so often, although they do appear to be somewhat airship obsessed in the pictures. And as you pass off to your right, there is a sliding door, no more than a sort of one of the sort of half-rigid concertina affairs, and it is pushed back. And from within, you can smell cooked food. Looks like whoever was in the process of abandoning this place was also in the process of cooking a meal.
Oh, I've been in the jungle for ages, haven't we? What were they cooking?
From the smell of it, you open the oven directly in front of you, and a little bit of smoke comes out, but there does appear to be a casserole dish of some kind. And how are you taking out?
Well, it's obviously a fire hazard. I'll turn the stove off, and are there any oven gloves?
You look around, and yeah, there's a pair of ovens. You take it out, and it looks like they were doing some kind of meat stew. I say meat because it doesn't smell exactly like beef. It doesn't look exactly like chicken, and but it does smell appetizing at this point.
All right,
Like
well,
dinos.
Could be dinosaur meat. You're not entirely sure.
I think
in the time it took Theo to go up there, is anyone else taking the advantage of any guy ropes, or are you still continuing to look around downstairs?
Yeah, I'll probably.
I'm following the example.
Okay, so there's at least one other guy rope that will take you up to a position on the gondola, but the third rope would be one that would take you up onto the envelope itself. So would require two things on that one: strength check to get up, and then something to swing across. So who's taking what?
I'm not trying the latter, I think, because I'm not strong.
No, you're not. I don't think either of you are really, but
Is there no dex approach?
yeah, there would be. I mean, the dex would be to swing, because you'd be using like acrobaticsy type affairs to swing across.
Yeah,
But you've still got to grab and climb first. In fact, no, the longer one, you don't need to grab, you've just got to climb. So it would just be the single dex check. So, Dr. Dick, you've got to jump to grab a rope first.
That's dex.
It's a strength check to jump.
Oops, that was wrong thing, but
That's charisma. Oh, please come here, Mr. Rope. I'll be nice.
But it's the same. It's the same anyway, so.
Yeah. So unless you take steps, Hey, you've got a difficulty number to 14 Tektite. You could attempt to see if it works.
Yeah, I could.
You can always choose to spend one of your own possibilities if it doesn't.
How was it?
Well, that's not how you roll. Oh, yeah, variety skill. Yeah, so you didn't get the Tektite, but you could still roll to spend a possibility if you want to, or one of your cards.
I don't think I have a card that I can use. So I'm going to go with the possibility. And that was...
You're close. You're one away. So your old bones are creaking a little bit, and you've just got the rope at the tail end of your fingertips.
Could
Shock
someone
would have reset by now as well. You've had a bit of time to recover.
If someone could assist me, that would be very helpful.
Is anyone doing anything to assist Dr. Dick? He appears to be having a little bit of difficulty. I mean, if Ryoko's willing to take a -2 to her dex check, she could do a quick assist while you're at the top of the pyramid together, see if she can give you a boost.
I can do so, but I rolled my dex.
That's all right. -2 onto that will give you an 11, which is still enough for you to succeed.
All right.
So what would a bonus number of 1 onto your strength be? Would your strength +1 be at least a 10?
Yeah. Well, strength +1 would be 7.
No, not you, Dr. Dick. Ryoko.
Oh.
Strength +1 would
Yeah,
be
so
a 10. Yes.
Okay, cool. So just before you've got the rope that you're about to climb up in your hand. So it's currently a bit slack, and you're waiting for it to tighten up. And just in the process, you see Dr. Dick having difficulty. So you just quickly grab him by the collar and just pull yourself up on the rope a little bit, and it's just a little bit of a boost, enough so that Dr. Dick, you can get your hands onto it. It's still going hand over hand up this rope is still a bit of a chore for you, but you manage it accordingly. And you find yourself coming in the
Come
end.
on, Dr. Dick. You should have laid off the Szechuan sauce.
The reason it won't let me put you to the side, but you're at the back of the dirigible there at the moment, waiting to come aboard. And Ryoko, you scramble up, get about halfway up, and then begin to swing back and forth until on the 4th or 5th swing, your feet touch the catwalk around the front there. So all 3 of you are now up. Ryoko, you can see, and this whole front is actually glass, so you can see into what would appear to be some kind of steering chamber. And Dr. Dick, you come in through a similar door to Theo's at the back and find yourself in a long central corridor, and ahead of you some lights which appear to be sealed electrical devices that you can see from here, are lit in the corridor ahead of you.
Huh. Well, I'm going to start walking up towards the whatever it is, at the front here, the command center or whatever it is.
Okay. Are you taking time to look into anything as you go along, or just cursory glances?
Yeah, I think I'll deal with that later.
Okay. So you make your way up through the center. You get to about there, and the bits to the south and north are both open. That's about as far as you go at this point. To the north, it appears to be a well-appointed communal sleeping area. To the south, looks like an engineering station or some kind of mechanics area. But some of your recent training makes you realise that not all of that is contemporary science. You see some strange, others might say weird utensils there. Ryoko, at the front, just give us a quick find check. Okay. You can go left or right around the edge. You were paying attention enough to see that Theo got in somewhere off to your, to your left, but you're not entirely sure which way would be appropriate.
Right. Well, I will just venture a little bit further, not taking the first.
Okay, Abram, what are you doing downstairs still? Apart from saying, what are they all doing up there?
Yeah, I called to the wrong person. I meant Durek, but never mind. I don't know if I trust flying things. So I think it's a bit, I presume it's a bit too advanced for me.
A little bit. I think dirigibles are significantly after your era. So yes, it is staying up somehow. You do not know how or what is doing that.
So I will spend time keeping an eye out for any incoming dinos or coming back, and I'm going to make my bullets.
Okay, give us a find check as well while you're waiting.
Please be good, please be good. Oh, it's all right.
You sit down. It's no more than about 30 seconds after you start, and footsteps come over, and you see that the lizard man, the Dinos, Aston Ra, has come over, and he's looking at you, looking up and goes, "Friend Gardner." And he points up. "What is that?" And he points up towards the envelope of the dirigible. You strain your eyes, and you're looking, and he's pointing there. He's pointing at maybe a third of the way up around the main body of the dirigible, up from the gondola. You can see that there's looks like a small light, and it appears to be flashing red.
Don't think red lights flashing tend to be good.
Ryoko, which way round were you going?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm swinging to the other side, so
You're going to keep going around the long way, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that your advice, Durek? As they come,
let it be a surprise.
Exploded through the air, as it blows up around them. Let it be a surprise. It'll be a fun surprise.
Okay, you get around there. You can see that down that edge, the gondola continues. One thing you know is maybe about another 6 or 7 meters down from where you are, you can see the catwalk actually forks off to the right, and hanging off from a separate bit of the envelope, and it appears to be quite a rigid envelope on this. You've got a gun cupola with a machine gun sticking out of it. So you think it's roughly about here, but out a ways. That's one of the 2 machine guns that were being fired at you from before.
Okay, is there any entry point there? Like,
yeah, you can make your way over to there quite happily. If you go over, you see the cupola's actually got a hatch on it. You open, the hatch is actually in the envelope above. So you open that, there's a couple of rungs on the inside of the hatch. You can pull yourself up, and you're in the sort of the cavernous interior of the Zeppelin. It's not completely empty because what you can see is there's the outer skin that is part of the rigid envelope, and then you can see maybe about 5 or 6 feet in, there's what looks like a huge, almost like the right way to describe it, sort of like waterproof leather, but not leather, which you assume is the internal reservoir of whatever gas is keeping this up. But you can see that about 3 feet up the envelope, you've got a hatch that goes down into the machine gun emplacement.
All right.
And you can quite easily get in there. Theo, are you investigating the kitchen further, or are you moving elsewhere?
Sorry, you caught me mid-biscuit. I was...
We don't have to RP being in the kitchen. You can...
yeah, I'm actually live right. I should have him in a casserole, really. My main objective was to save the casserole, because once we've cleared this place out, I'm going to eat this casserole because I'm starving. So
that's fine. You take the casserole out and put it on top of the stove. By the way, it's not a gas range, it's an electric range.
Okay, and then I'm going to sort of make my way out here, and seeing this is like the control area, I imagine this will be the most interesting, so I'll probably be heading that way, but I might also see Dr. Dick.
Yeah, no, you do. You head to that point.
I'll wait for him.
Stop reading my post. Kind regard to Captain. Very funny. Again, you're at a bit of a point where it's a bit of a dichotomy, because while the upper class opulence continues off to your left, and you can see Dr. Dick walking up into the same sort of very well appointed. Each of these, they're quite expensive looking armchairs, and it's like a nice dark walnut table. You can see that there are coasters, and there's evidence that somebody was very recently possibly having a whiskey on the rocks, because the ice is still in the glass. The bar to the top is well appointed. There's a little nook as well, but straight ahead from you is a plain bare metal floored room, and you poke your head in, and you can see that there's a quite unusual, what looks like it could be like a metallic office chair, a little bit out of place on coasters, but still. On the left wall, there is a half-empty rack of M40 rifles, and in front of the chair is what looks to you like an old-fashioned radio set, but with some extra bits added to it that you're not entirely certain what they are. They don't look like any technology that you've encountered up until this point.
It's like a weird, like something Dr. Dick might come up with, I guess.
Possibly, yeah. Lots of electrically crackling tubes and vacuum chambers and the like. And again, the electricity that's crackling has a red and blue aspect to a lot of it as well. So it will be like crackling arc white color, and then every so often along that crackling energy there'll be a sort of a red and blue spark coming through. Dr. Dick, you are steadfastly heading down. You see Father Theo looking into what looks to you like some kind of radio room.
I'll just shrug and point into the room to him and look, what the hell?
This is pretty interesting. I've never seen anything quite like it before.
I'll nod, thinking it looked like his cup of tea.
Okay, and while you're doing that, Theo, you continue to walk down this way.
Yeah.
And if you thought what was in that room was unusual, what's in this one is even more unusual. So you've got two different stations. The one to your right appears to be just a standard desk situation, no problem at all. However, on the north wall, apart from the slightly 1930s design aesthetic, is something that you wouldn't have found out of place in the cyber papacy. It's a bit thicker than you would otherwise think, but it appears to be an almost entire wall-mounted display screen of some kind. You don't necessarily recognize the overall technology, but you do recognize the fact that in the top right-hand corner there is some kind of, it's not numbers, but there is an indicator on the right-hand side that is dropping. And please give me a quick find check.
I knew I should have put some points in that, never mind. Yeah.
It was only a 5. You'd still notice. You do note that in that top right-hand corner, from, you know how some modern tellies have like emotive backlighting.
Oh yes.
The bit that's got this slowly dropping bar, behind it there is a pulsing red glow.
Dr. Dick, this looks like red, flashy. You might want to take a look at this.
Okay. Holy shit, that's
As you step into the room, Dr. Dick, a female German-sounding voice, obviously artificial, but somebody's taken a step to give the accent, just calmly states, it comes from this device you're looking at, destruct sequence continuing. Although in a German accent. And female.
Technique.
Oh crap! This I think this thing's about to blow up. I gotta. What we do.
Now the guys on the ground.
Yep.
You will still be able to take part in this, just not necessarily in the first bit.
I think my character probably doesn't understand what a red light flashing is, so I'm just.
No, you might not. I mean, there's similar things in the Victorian era, because obviously you've got self-destruct and the like, but not necessarily automated ones with weird computer tech behind them. So, first question. No question at all. You need to roll. So, can everybody, to begin with, please roll me a d6?
Except us.
No, everybody. On this one, everybody.
Hey!
Hooray! Us down on the floor. Woohoo!
Okay, so everybody is getting a Nile Empire cosm card.
Okay.
There's me thinking us two were going to get the best things, but no.
Theo, you get escape.
Oh, perfect.
Might be useful. Ryoko, you get inevitable return. That's a very good one.
Yeah, especially whenever the ship blows up.
Dr. Dick, you've got temporary reprieve, also potentially a good one. Abram, you've got round 2.
Do I take it that's a crap on there?
Nope. Played during any encounter. Heroes recover all shock, but a new twist is added for the rest of the encounter. So you all recover shock, but things get a little harder.
Yeah, we
And
don't have
Durak,
any shock lost yet.
what luck.
Good to make it hard for those up there, though. Makes it more fun for us down here.
It says it helps them, it doesn't make
What
them
luck
harder.
does, it helps you. Yeah.
Okay. I thought you said makes it harder.
Well, your one does, but his one helps.
What luck?
Because I help people, it seems.
And can you elect somebody to roll an additional d6 to see if you're getting a Living Land drama deck card or a Nile Empire drama deck card? You are still in a mixed Living Land Nile Empire zone at the moment. Nile Empire. So, now this is only for the purposes of dramatic skill resolution. You are not in combat rounds at this point. There might be points within this where you go into them, but at this moment you are not in combat rounds. So, it gets hot. Everybody wearing armor takes 2 fatigue.
No.
Unless the only armour you are wearing
2
is
shock.
a mask. 2 shock, sorry.
Is
Whether
all
it's
of
a
you?
piece or not. So yeah, nobody's wearing armour that
Me?
is just a mask. So just a mask.
No, I mean, I meant I had 2 shock.
Everybody takes 2 shock.
Did the shot reset?
It has done, yes.
Sorry, what's the shot goes up to your spirit? Is that right?
Yes.
Spirit
So-
plus benefits.
Yeah, if you've got any appropriate perk.
Okay.
So, Dr. Dick, you're looking, and your first evaluation is you reckon you've got about 5 before
4.
this thing goes. Potentially 3, 2. Unfortunately, you're not able in the first seconds. You're not able to determine what of this thing in front of you is what is a control panel. So unless you do something to enable you to take a step A from the situation,
Would it be Anna?
I don't think you can because the card step A isn't engaged. Well, if you've got a card
got-
that would force me to draw another initiative card,
Yeah, I've got Season Initiative. I could do that. I think I'm
Yes.
playing Season Initiative.
The card that allows you to do all steps. The Cosm card, they just got it then, didn't they?
did somebody get that?
I thought they did. Did they not? Oh, maybe
Did
I
someone get
misread
what,
it.
sorry?
Which one?
You see all the cards,
Yeah.
cards out.
Hey, alternatively, make all steps available during this round. Oh, I have a chase. Never mind.
Yeah, that's
Full
escape,
sentence.
isn't it?
Well, so,
Escape's a particular kind of dramatic skill resolution.
well, we couldn't make it the chase. You just need someone to chase me.
Yeah.
Grows legs.
Obviously, Theo chasing you around the room with a Benny Hill theme tune going on in the background does not turn a dramatic skill resolution into a chase.
Good try though.
All right. Well, I'm going to play Season Initiative then.
Okay, so we draw a new Nile Empire drama card. We get The Tension Rises. Instead, all players discard a destiny card of their choice from their hand, not the action pool. If the player's hand is empty, there is no effect. So,
Good
Theo, what are you getting rid of?
Glory.
Okay, why have you got Glory in your Cosm cards?
I haven't actually got a Coffin card.
Yeah, you did. I handed them out one a minute ago.
It was.
You got Escape. 'cause you were the
I've
first.
put the wrong thing. That's it.
Ah. Don't forget to delete the one from your hand, as well as discarding it from where you had in the Cosm. Ryoko, which one are you discarding?
Do I need to? I don't
You
have
have
any.
to discard one from your hand.
A hand. Okay. Dun, 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 dun.
While you're deciding on that one, Dr. Dick.
Transfer.
Okay, go ahead and discard.
Yeah,
Abram?
me too. Transfer to
I think it's going to be close call.
Okay, and Dirac.
I will be getting rid of Glory.
Okay. So, after a brief second of paralysis, Dr. Dick, you manage to go, no, there, and you look down, and there is what looks like an old style typewriter keyboard connected to the bottom of this screen by some kind of coaxial cable, but it appears to be quite thick. So you can attempt step A this round, which is a science or computers skill to work out what the right thing to do is. But it is difficulty 14.
Science would be better. Theo couldn't help you with anything, could he?
He might be able to at this point. He could assist,
I can
but he'd have
assist.
to assist with science.
Oh, can I not
No,
assist
as
with
long as you pull
persuasion
away.
just to give him encouragement.
Not at this point, because what you know of Dr. Dick, he doesn't need any encouragement in the realms of science, but pointing him in the right direction might help.
I'm gonna use. I think I'm gonna have to spend a possibility on that one.
Yeah, if you're only order 4.
I had to not have any science skills that can assist.
It's right, you could just use mind if you wanted to,
Okay.
because it can be used unskilled in this particular instance. Unfortunately, what he's doing is entirely beyond you. His fingers are clicking over the keys with a clack, 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 not a noise, because it is a typewriter keyboard. But as you watch, you can start to see the screen in front of you. It's weird. It's not actually a video screen. It's almost like, and you're distracted by this, Theo, as you look. It's almost like there's something moving around, writing onto the underside of this. Some kind of stylus or lots of them, and you proceed to watch Dr. Dick as he goes through and begins to write he's writing something in strange computer code you can't understand. In fact, Dr. Dick, you're not entirely sure you understand it. It seems to be some precursor of Fortran with some very strange back-end coding tagged onto it somehow, but you think you're getting the hang of it. You just stop yourself from saying, I know this, it's a Unix-based system. So you decide not to quote from Jurassic Park, which I think is the worst non-technical line in any film I've ever seen. But anyway. Next round. Oh, hang on, I did that, but we need to roll first. So can somebody roll a d6? On an even number, you get Will Our Heroes Survive? Oh, you both rolled. We'll go with Theo's one because I want to do another one. Okay, Will Our Heroes Survive? It means you can do a B, but dice added by possibilities or an equivalent do not add a minimum of 10 this round. So, before anything else kicks off, Abram and Durac, if Durac has had his attention drawn to the flashing red dot on the outside of the envelope, you know that the flashing red dot is flashing faster, and you also spot that there are possibly 3 others along the side of the Zeppelin that is currently presented to yourself. Ryoko, you also, from your vantage point within the machine gun cupola, note that up along the main envelope of the Zeppelin, you can see, you're looking at the other side to that which Durac and Abram are looking at, you can also see what looks like a flashing red light, although from your vantage point, you can actually see in a little more detail that the device looks like the flashing light is on the outside of a sort of maybe a grapefruit-sized hemisphere, which is attached to the outside of the envelope of the gondola. But at this range, you can see there also appears to be a small wire coming out of it, which disappears up into the envelope.
All right.
So step B is a completion by anybody engaged. So it could be the guys on the ground or Ryoko. A successful find or evidence analysis to track down and, at least in 1 or 2 instances, via some route or another, disable or detach at least one of the incendiary devices that are attached to the outside of the Dread Zeppelin. So which of the 3 of you is going to attempt to either do it remotely or up close and personal?
Good luck, Abraham.
Can only one do it?
Only the people outside can do this particular one.
And what?
Sure, I can try.
So it's either a find or an evidence analysis.
Oh, okay. What's your mind? Is that what they both come off mind?
I believe they both do, yes.
My fine skills only 7, so no.
My mind skill is 9.
Um,
So 11 find.
11 find. I have 10 find.
Oh, shall I go for it then?
Yeah, better.
I mean, you can try it as well if you want to. Just for giggles. Especially since
11. What
it seems from down there is not done it just yet.
I need?
You need a 12.
Oh, okay, I'll spend action then.
Yeah, just for giggles. Oops.
Oh,
Okay.
do it then. Oh, get one each.
Yeah, you can do one each. So basically, over the course of the next few seconds, while Dr. Dick is still inside, unbeknownst to the rest of you, putting some amazing code together, Ryoko, you pull yourself out of the cupola and then getting your bearings, you look from within the envelope of the Zeppelin. You look down and you can see where the item that you found is located, and you proceed to just make your way down. I mean, you've got to go hand over hand at this point because where it is, you're literally you're on the canvas that's stretched between the rigid struts of the Zeppelin. And you can see, and you're looking at it, and you've got a little bit of knowledge, and you work out that, yep, that's following it through. That looks like cordite, and there's a detonator there, and you just get your katana off, and you just snip the cordite heading towards whatever that explosive device is, and just carefully remove the detonator from the situation. Abram, on the other hand, not knowing what cordite is, not having any idea what this particular thing is, you go, well,
Good.
that's not doing it right. So you bring your gun up, draw a bead.
Yep.
Boom.
Best way to
And
do
the
it.
light and the light goes out.
Easy.
Luckily, your bullet wasn't doing anything that would have triggered it.
I got a 14, by the way.
Exactly. So you did enough, whatever was describing. Can somebody roll me a d6, please, for the third round? Said you've got 5 to deal with. Is it a living land you're going from, or is it a Nile Empire?
I've done one. Theo's done one.
Dr. Dick, you can do another one because we took Theo's last time. It's a living land one.
Boom. Here come the dinos.
Well, not necessarily on one of these rolls, but flaring tensions. A, B, C, D.
Oh, 2 villains attack one another. If only.
Step C. So, Dr. Dick, you are coding away and thinking you're getting on quite well. However, Theo, you notice that off to the side of the screen that Dr. Dick's working on, there appears to be something acting independently, and it seems to be doing or some kind of attempt to counter his hacking, shall we say. And you watch as the symbols and the text and everything else seem to coalesce, and something is pushed, visually pushed off the screen, which you take to be some kind of signal. Ryoko, you hear the sound of metal on metal as something opens. Abram, Durak, you see about 4 points along the side of the gondola, little hatches open. And from what you could describe as drones, little flying robots, but they look a bit more 1930s, with each of them has got its own little personal mini dirigible atop it, deploy and begin to head in your direction. So each of you needs to tell me what your dodges are, as actually no, what your melee weapon skills are, as the drones seem to deploy to deal with the threat, including two which zip into the control room with Theo and Dr. Dick.
Okay.
So, let's start down on the ground. Abram, Durak, what are your melee weapon skills?
Oh, they're coming down to attack me. I combat.
11.
These weird for me. 3 plus 11.
Sorry, because you're not armed normally, are you? So it would be your unarmed if you haven't got a weapon in your hands.
Yep, my unarmed is 12.
Okay, so first off versus Durak, as the drone flies down, and it doesn't appear to be armed with any weapons, but then you notice that the rotors that it's using for directional force appear to be razor sharp. But it skitters off your armor. Abram, what was your unarmed? Was it an 11?
Yep.
You take 12 damage, AP 2. What's your toughness?
All right then. My toughness would be minus my armor will be 8.
Okay, so that's 4. 2 shock. So it doesn't yet draw. A little bit of blood is drawn, but it doesn't appear to be causing you any issues yet. Ryoko, what is your? I mean, you can defend with melee because you've got a katana.
Yeah, I got the katana out from the cutting. So katana's 5.
There
Can
are
I-
2 against you, so of
Can I ask you a question, John?
course you can.
These two objects that are fighting
Yep.
us, they're villains?
They can count as villains, yes.
Okay, so if you read the little card...
I know, but
Okay.
there's more than 2.
There's only 5.
No, there's 8. So you're getting attacked by 6. So it has had an effect.
Okay, that was my question.
So Dex plus your katana skill is a 15, yeah, Ryoko?
Yes.
15?
So the 2 on you, inside this cramped area between the outside envelope and sort of the inner gas bladder, taking great care, at least from your side, not to pierce the aforementioned gas-filled bladder. You proceed to parry, riposte, strike, and to block as these drones buzz around your head and just come in and... There's no real sparks kicking off, but you are a little worried at some point. Dr. Dick, what's your unarmed minus 2? Because you're having to concentrate.
Unarmed minus 2 is wait.
0.
What's that? 7.
Okay, what is your... There's no bonus damage. What's your toughness?
Toughness 9.
9, so that's 2 result points. So you take 2 shock,
Ow.
but you're desperately trying to concentrate on what you're doing. Theo, what's your unarmed? Oh, I think you've been hit with that.
9.
Yes, that's a bonus die. So versus your toughness, which is quite good. Oh, it's a 1. 13 against your toughness.
11.
So that's 2 shock.
Tail.
Now, you all get a fight back. Now, as long as one of you takes out at least 1, you count as having completed step C. However, the ones you don't take out will continue to assault you.
Okay, we can attack the one that hit me. I will wipe that thing from the face of the earth.
Roll a 1. Roll a 1.
No,
Oh.
you rolled a 19. Okay, they only have... I mean, they're not going to take any shock because they are essentially automata. You only need to do 1 wound. And they have toughnesses of 10.
16 damage, AP 2. Oh, I don't even know if I get bonuses.
Well, you did over 5 more than their toughness, so 1 down. So you've counted as doing step C. Abram?
Yeah, I'll shoot it as it tries to fly past again.
Dodge your 10.
Ooh.
Just. But again, what's
Just.
your basic damage?
15.
Is enough. Second
14,
one
sorry. 14.
Oh, okay. Can you do any bonus to that? 'Cause that's not enough.
I suppose I could do a possibility. Yeah, I will.
That's
I'm
karma
annoyed.
for you.
Thingy. First one's skill, second one's dice roll. Is that right?
Yep.
That'll do it.
Okay.
So I'm
You
gonna-
draw a bead, fire, and it collapses. There's this little sound as its little personal dirigible deflates in a comedy fashion as well. Father Theo up in the control room. Dr. Dick's a little bit otherwise engaged, so he can't defend himself. So you've actually got 2 as of you, Ryoko.
Well, I'm getting nailed too. Easy.
Okay, so I'm assuming you're pulling out your shotgun.
Oh, yes, yes.
Now, bearing in mind, you will be fighting one that is engaged with Dr. Dick, so you will have to hope that you don't roll odd your dice.
Yeah, and also you're probably going to hit the thing behind it, like the.
Arrange himself so he's shooting away from the control panel.
Okay, good. Well,
Best way.
So
to
you
fix
are
the
at point blank range, so you are going to get a plus. Don't forget, if you're doing your short burst, you're also getting another +2. So you'll be going off of +4 -2 for firing at 2 of them. So you're getting an aggregate +2.
Inside a balloon.
Well, that's to be found out. You're not sure yet. You still need to determine what the metal of this thing is.
I'm
It is a
shooting this
rigid
way.
dirigible, but he is shooting in a particular direction.
yeah, should try to aim a bit downwards. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
Abraham.
So you've got a +2 overall at the moment.
So perhaps I really need to stand on a chair, so I'm angling. Yeah. Okay, you're +2.
You could stand on a chair if you want, but weirdly, despite the fact you're in a vehicle that probably moves around quite a lot, the chairs in this room have coasters on their feet.
Yeah, I saw that. What I'll do is, I think.
The comedy scene for you.
So-
Stand on one of them.
Am I right in thinking though that it's just an odds or even chance of hitting Dr. Dick, regardless?
It's an odd or even chance of rolling to see if you hit Dr. Dick. So an odd doesn't mean you automatically do. It then means that for all of the individuals involved in that conflict, we roll randomly to see which one of them you hit.
Don't worry, if you feel nothing bad will happen.
I mean, I could heal him after, I suppose.
You could heal him after. Yeah.
That's how badly you shoot.
I've got to
Maybe
shoot
none
him.
of you.
If I don't shoot him, we're in trouble, aren't we? So.
Well, they'll be continuing to attack you round on
Come on,
round.
shoot, you son of a bitch, just shoot!
Okay, so I will do so.
You've
I'll
got permission.
You're going to blame yourself now if he blows you up.
feel slightly better. I'm going to do my is it like my short burst?
Yep. So you're an aggregate +2 because the minus is for firing twice, and the bonus is for short range and shotgun close range and your short burst.
I wonder what happens if you get glory right now. Oh, that's not going to happen.
Well, I spent a possibility. Yeah.
Okay, so we add your dice roll
That's an
to
odd
the
at the minute.
5. So it's an odd right now.
So my skill total's 5, and my dice my action total's 10, isn't it?
Yeah. So the skill, the first thing is your skill,
Yep. 5.
and the second one is the die total. No, your skill's not just 5 for 5 combat.
Come on, Theo.
Don't forget to add your
Oh,
dex. If it's
I've
5
done that.
plus your dex, don't forget.
Oh yeah, that makes a big difference. Okay, so that's actually a 13.
Yeah, you're actually quite good with a shotgun. Don't sell yourself short.
Okay, and then 10 for what I rolled last time, yeah?
5 for what you rolled. Your die total. It says if you see in the text, it gives you the die total.
God.
He's such a chancer.
He's just drawing it out so that it takes longer. That's all he's doing.
Yeah. You see, I was told to do this.
Do the
That-
favour.
that-
Yeah.
that makes
New die total.
it's an even though, isn't it?
Yep, the new die total is an even, so you
Oh,
do
you
hit
lucky.
the appropriate one. So you rolled 2 odds, which gives you an even. So Dr. Dick is safe. Dr. Dick, the small area of the room is just filled with the deep burst fire of like 6 combat shotgun rounds, then immediately followed by a ka-dunk, ka-dunk, as the 2 things that were previously airborne are no longer. Ryoko,
Yes.
you get a chance to attack back to the things that attempted the audacity to attack you. Question I have to ask you is, are you attacking them with your powered up katana, or are you keeping the katana powered off?
I'm keeping it powered off, so no
Okay.
sparks
Okay, so we'll
go
reduce the
there.
damage by a couple of points accordingly.
Okay. Declare all actions, roll 1 total penalty. Okay, I do a multi-action. I try to kill both of them.
Okay, so you're at a -2 for that, but that's all.
So I put a -2 down there. And let's do this. Where is it? Melee weapon. Okay, I reroll or success.
Yeah, they're only dodges of 10s.
Okay.
So the question is, do you do enough damage to take them out? They have a toughness of 10, and they've only got 1 wound, so you need to do a 15 on damage to take them out. What are you doing at the moment?
Yeah, well, the damage is only 13, armor piercing 2.
However, they don't have armor, but do you not have an ability that can add 2 to your damage if you take some shots?
Yes, the key strike.
So you do exactly that. So while you have taken steps to prevent the electrical energy from skittering up your katana, you instead pull some internal scream, and it does, in fact, in the darkness of the unlit interior between the bladder and the envelope of the Zeppelin, there's a brief bright blue glow from the energy you put into your katana, and you slice both of these things in 2. Well done. You have completed step C on round 3. Can somebody roll me 1d6 to determine if you have a Nile Empire or a Living Land drama
I will
card?
do it this time. Yay!
A Living Land drama card. Reality burst.
We have a D.
Sure. Does anyone have a drama that card that makes it not happen?
All lords suffer 2 shock and disconnect. Reality-rated characters test reality and lose 1 possibility on a failure. So finally, the local reality seems to rebel at having this forced Nile Empire Living Land mix. Primitive meets adventure is obviously not working entirely well, and outside the sky spontaneously darkens and red and blue lightning crack down out of the sky. It's only a 10, so Durak, you succeeded. Theo, test reality, please.
Check me
Okay,
out.
Ryoko, you lose a possibility. Theo, you are just a rock in the middle of this. Abram, you are struck by lightning and lose a possibility.
Oh, he's meant to.
I used one, I lost one, so that was clicking to lose.
And Dr. Dick, you are fine as the reality burst kicks off all over the area.
We attacked the 2 strongest. That's why, me and Ryoko lost.
And the 2 weakest? Yeah, that's right.
The strongest, yeah.
Dr. Dick, you are feeling like you're doing the retro computing equivalent of dueling banjos right about now, and it's getting to the final verse where things are going so quick that you can't necessarily tell what your fingers are doing before they're doing it, but you appear to be doing the right things, and you're at the verge of being able to cancel the countdown as it's ticking down to the last elements on the side. However, you will need to do a science test or a computer's test. Your choice. You have to have the skills in order to choose these ones, though. Computers will only be a difficulty number of 12. Science is going to be a 14.
We help by chanting down the timer. 10, 9, 8. Does that help?
That will give me 1 point advantage if I use computers overall. So I'm going to go with that.
Okay. You've mastered this system at the moment, and with seemingly what feels to you like an eternity, but what looks to Theo like there's maybe 2 or 3 pixels of line left, you shut down the system-wide alert, and as you do, the entire screen changes to a muted coloured rendition of a cloudscape. And outside, the flashing red lights will stop.
Good job, Dr. Deck.
Just for your own benefit, if you had rolled a setback, one of the cordite threads connected to one of the forward incendiary devices would begin to spark and risk ignition, which somebody would have had to have stopped to neutralise the explosive. And in the event of a complication, additional heretofore unknown systems would engage, and on top of the destruct system going off, the Zeppelin would immediately start to go hell-mel full speed toward the pyramid.
Ooh.
At which point somebody that isn't Dr. Dick would have had to have wrestled the steering wheel to prevent it from occurring.
Oh, we've got someone up there that uses air vehicles now, don't we?
Yeah, that'd be.
We've got both of the people that use air vehicles up there.
I wonder if you could, if Ryoko did roll, what would have happened? Can you beat these N14, Ryoko?
Yeah.
With 14?
Air vehicles.
With your new air vehicles.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Not with that roll.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing it didn't
him
happen then.
We'd have souped him up.
Dr. Dick, in the seconds immediately following that call down, you quickly start tapping away. You are getting to be familiar with the systems that you've got here, and this, albeit primitive, but seemingly quite strange computing, not computer system that you've got here. And you notice a couple of things as you're going through. One of which is, as you're standing there, you push a couple of buttons, enter a subroutine system, and the entire screen changes to be. I've got it here in a second. It's not as full color or detailed. It's a bit muted in places, but it turns into a world map.
Is it an updated world map?
It would appear, if some of you have got things to refer to, it would appear to be. It does have some slight differences to what you've seen before.
South America doesn't have anything on it now.
But what you also find is the ability to zoom in, and you zoom into the area where you are. If I just match the sharing, sync client view, and you can see, while there's not one on there, you can see there's actually a little blip of the airship itself on there. One thing you note is that the colours on the map you're seeing, they aren't as clear and distinct as this. They're a bit more blobby, but it is apparent that there are systems on board here that are able to at least display the current state of the war.
Look what it's like in India, unfortunately. I know it was Gaia, wasn't it? They were failing, not India.
It's still the same. It still looks like an airplane.
The airship's cool.
Not look like an aeroplane.
No, India, you said.
Oh, right, yes. I mean, the main difference is with India, if you are interested, you've still got access to the Day 133 map. there do not appear to have been any changes to the territory held, but certainly what was previously. Let me just share this as well. So you can switch between those now.
I see.
White bits have changed slightly. The white's triangle.
What you recall is that was representing the areas that were pure zones of a Rorsch reality.
Well, it seems they moved one of the triangles over to the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the north, it's now a lot more black.
There's also there are also that areas that were previously mixed core Earth reality have become less so and are now more a Rorsch.
Right, let's go and look at the most important one then.
What Isle?
Mm-hmm. That's where I'm going. I'm going to compare them and see what the change is.
You're not even on the Zeppelin. You shouldn't be able to compare them at all.
Can't
Feel
stop
free
me.
to do so. Well, I can do. I can close them. I can close the image and stop you looking.
No! Don't you close anything! So the white bits got bigger at the north. It went from full red to whitey. No, it went from whitey red to full red.
Yeah, it's gone.
Okay, so the mid color red is a mixed zone. So the lightest red. So for example, the bit on Norway, that's a pure zone of Isle reality. The color to the left of Norway in the North Sea. Hang on, make sure I'm looking at the right one. Yeah, immediately to the left, that's still mixed core Earth. But the darker red, the sort of mid-range, is actually what we call, that's a dominant Isle reality. But again, Isle hasn't really expanded all that much, if this map is to be believed.
What, from right in the north there?
They've just reinforced areas. They've become stronger. And your crowd hasn't done much. There's no change.
There's an Isle Empire one. Look, because this is an Isle Empire map, isn't it? So I suppose it might be more predominant about what that one's doing.
Might be more accurate. Oh.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, it's expanded a bit, hasn't it? Oh.
So I just reset it to show the Nile Empire in its entirety.
A little bit, not much though. There's a little bit on the very left in Libya. There's a couple of extra.
It's only been 20 days.
Well, they're trying to expand into North Africa, North America now. Oh no, South America. Sorry.
Central America, you mean?
Is it Central? I can't remember. It would be Central America, and yet they
You're
haven't
in Central
done
America, yes.
In Africa.
You're
very
in
little. Yeah, so sending ships around to other places when they've.
Yeah, they've gained a little bit in Libya.
Added 2 triangles, haven't they? 2 triangles in Libya. That's it. Nothing else.
So what else is there to find out from this computer thing?
Well, you've got that. There appear to be other systems that are controlling various systems on the ship. You find some cargo manifests and the like. There also appear to be some orders from the high ups, particularly it would appear that Mobius has sent the Cloud Master some commands here, but it does appear to reiterate what he had been told, that it was imperative that he scour this region for tektites, and the wording is that I am certain that this will be a key element in our defeat of the puny Earthlings. And he does use the term puny Earthlings.
Did he come from Mars?
No, but he didn't. You don't get the impression he comes from a place called Earth. Theo, while you're watching Dr. Dick do all this, you can hear something that sounds like a sort of a radio signal coming through.
Uh huh. Okay.
Head back to the radio room.
Sure.
You can see that there is indeed various radio signals being picked up here. They don't appear to be directly coming. Hang on, I don't want to restart to imply Windows updates. No, I'm in the middle of stuff. Go away.
That's great timing, that.
Yeah, 20 through 54. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care about that. We'll be done by then. You would seem that you've got the ability to. It's not actually an incoming message to you. The system is picking up other radio communications, and you can see quite clearly. You work it out. It's like an old switchboard, with the bits and pieces that you pull out and plug back in. But you quickly find that the radio transceiver on this thing is relatively powerful. There's obviously something punching it up to an extra level, because you're picking up radio communications from
Luxembourg. Everyone can pick it up from Luxembourg.
sort of like 700 to 1,000 miles away.
Can I get Radio Luxembourg? You always get Radio Luxembourg, don't
And you do. You get some relatively nice. It's not Radio Luxembourg, unfortunately, because where that would be is currently under Isle Reality. But
Yeah.
you pick up some North American radio stations.
Oh. Wow.
And
okay.
then give us a science check, or any other an appropriate tech skill if you have one.
I think it'll probably have to be mind, actually. I didn't do very well on tech. Yeah, I'll just do mind.
That's enough. You're scanning through. You found a little dial to scan through, going up and down through channels. You spend a minute or two overhearing what sounds like angry Spanish chatter, obviously coming from somewhere within the Mexican or Guatemalan mainland, but you're not able to actually work out what they're saying. Just it seems to be quite urgent. You are hearing American military chatter, which you work out from they're talking about Guantanamo Bay and Havana and the like. You appear to have been able to tap into some of the military channels for the troops that are, from the sounds of it, undergoing a fighting defensive retreat over near Cuba. And then the last bit, when you finally stop, you're hearing, somebody just said Delphi Council. You think you've managed to possibly break into a Delphi Council radio channel?
Wow. Hey, everyone. I'll listen in. Hello. I'll say.
Do you guys have a call sign? Have you decided if you've got one yet?
Bad die.
Bad guy.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
bad dice sounds better, I think.
Bad dice.
Yeah, bad dice. That's cool. You can give yourself the bad dice. It's good. It will confuse the High Lords. That's the appropriate thing. So after a small, confusing conversation with whoever it is on the other side of the radio link, they do something with the technology and put you through to Captain Castile, Mindy, your Delphi Council contact. And she's very happy to hear from you. Father Theo, we weren't expecting you to report back. Are you back on board the Blatant Lie?
Not as such. We've commandeered a flying ship, Zeppelin.
Wow. Sounds cool. What is that? The situation that was that what was causing the situation with the Nile?
Yes. They appear to be farming these what do you call them? Glass things.
Glass, that's fine. You can call it that as well. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you want to hang on 2 minutes, if you can get the group together where they're going to be heard, we can get the debriefing done. I'm sure that the commander and Dr. Zaitelius will be more than happy to hear that you've been successful.
Okay. I'll but yeah, I'll get them together and then we'll reconvene in a bit.
Are the rest of you climbing aboard? Dr. Dick, you have managed to scour the systems of this thing and you can't find any more booby traps. The worst thing that you've possibly found is that after doing a physical check of the cargo manifest, there appear to be 2 or 3 crates that aren't in the cargo hold at the back of the gondola.
Yeah.
But that's the worst you find. And apparently the bits you weren't finding were tagged as organic specimens.
Oh, must be the Gospog.
I'm going to start plating some casserole for everyone because it must have
cool.
cooled a bit now.
How are you? I mean, you. Who's going to make an attempt to fly this? Ryoko, you've got first dibs of the wheel if you want, while Dr. Dick is fiddling around with the systems that don't deal with the flying of the thing.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Japanese kamikaze pilot.
Okay. You sit yourself down, and it is weird. I mean, you can see you've got a big vista out through the dash, and you've got, it's like a ship's wheel, strangely, but there's also attitude adjusters and height controls and various yaw and pitch items. So you familiarize yourself with them to begin with before making an attempt to, let's say, bring her into land.
I find the horn.
Okay. Just roll me a d20.
Come on, man. For once, I rolled
Okay,
good.
I just wanted to make sure you didn't roll a 1, because if you rolled a 1, you would have mistaken the control to fire the main cannon for the horn. So you would have let a 75mm cannon shell head in whatever direction you were currently pointing, which would have been randomly determined on a d8. So air vehicles, yeah, you get used to it. And I mean, the people who are in it, Dr. Dick, Theo, you barely notice the ship moving. Durak, Abram, down on the ground, you see the Zeppelin stop its circling and it begins to gracefully turn, but as it's turning, it's losing altitude slowly, maybe 10, 20 feet at a time. And it wasn't that high to begin with, and it delicately comes to a point, and Ryoko, with that roll, you bring it down to maybe you're about a foot or two above the ground at the moment, and you've got it in station holding. Aston Ra and his Ankylosaur are looking at this thing with wondrous eyes, and the Dinos looks to you, Abram, and said, "Your friends are powerful indeed. They have brought down the giant round bird?" And he shrugs. He doesn't appear to have the words to describe the thing.
As good an answer as any, I think. Description. Yeah, they're pretty good in a tight squeeze. Some of them seem to understand these devices.
We rock.
And I'm assuming Theo is gesturing for people to get on board.
Yes, absolutely. I'm
The smell of an appetizing casserole wafts out of the door that's closest to you as well.
I'll have some cutlery and wave it at them. Dinner is served.
You might have to feed us some milk laced with knockout drugs before allowed on.
like BA.
and get us on, yeah.
I think though that surely we can lure you up with something to eat. We've been in the jungle for ages. You must be starving.
Go on, we'll have some food. Is our good friend here coming, or is it best you stay here with your tribe?
Well, I hope to return to the tribe, but I will stay here and keep up the fight for defending the innocent and ensuring justice continues in the jungle.
You fight well.
And he reaches over to you and clasps his big reptilian hands on each of your shoulders, and it's like a manly grip. There's no
Blessings
attempt to
upon
hug, there's no attempt to kiss, it's just a manly grip on the shoulders.
Attempt to be manly, but fail miserably.
You'll be more
Probably.
manly than he is. He's quite lizardly because he's not a man.
Imagine
peace
he's
be with
stronger
you.
than me, though, so I'll probably pale in comparison, but I will attempt to.
As you board the thing, initially it feels quite weird because your foot goes on and what you think should be quite spongy for it being in the air. The flight systems of this thing appear to be holding it quite stable, so it feels quite stable as well. Some basic exploration. The rooms are exactly what they appear to be. There's a series of 2 bunk dwellings, which show evidence of having been either occupied by military folk or engineers. There appears to be a double bed, which has evidence of only one occupant, in a room with a locked crate. The chest at the bottom of that bed is locked. The entire place appears to be plumbed, although not with hot water. All of the water you have running is cold. So the bath and the shower unit that are in the single area are plumbed with cold water. The toilet is with running water as well. Somebody needs to let me know if and when they decide to experiment with that. But it looks to be berth for about 24 or so passengers.
Rocks, this thing does.
Within about 15 minutes, you get a call back, and you are immediately greeted by the gravelly mid-American tones of Quinn Sebastian. He's like, I hear you guys have done a good job again. What's been going on down there in the Yucatan? Give us the rundown. Dr. Zaitalis is panicking in the background, but he's listening. And you hear in the background, I'm not panicking. I'm just eager to hear what they've done.
Well, we came across some sort of Nile Empire expeditionary force at Blimp. They appeared to be mining for tektites. And,
Are you sure?
well, yeah, because we're in it.
What? Flexible membrane, soft skin, helium or hydrogen, do you know?
Would I know that?
You might know. You know immediately as he said it. No, it isn't a soft skin. It's a rigid envelope with canvas over it.
Yeah, it's a rigid envelope with canvas over it. And,
it's a Zeppelin then, not a blimp. Okay, no problem.
I don't know what the
You
difference.
always taught me the details in the devil's in the detail, Dr. Sanders. What you said tektites. They were doing what with them?
Mining them, you know, something about them being having reality energy stored in them or something.
We need to get more information to get to the bottom of this. This as you're aware, Doctor, this reality mechanic is very, very unusual. We aren't entirely sure where this energy comes from. It's breaking so many laws of physics that it's hard to keep up with the information. Have you got any examples of these tektites that do have this within them?
Yeah, I have one right here actually. It's weird. It's like red and blue striped and just.
We are finding that as a standard, unusual aesthetic element to the situation. Well, we've got your location, so we can send other people in at a later point to find out. Did you find out anything else? Or find anything else? Or anything of note? Anything of unusual provenance?
Did we?
Middle of the tribe, middle of the camp.
Oh, the statue thing.
Oh yeah. Local Adinos were apparently like worshipping some Egyptian crocodile god. It's a bit weird.
Quebec.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Does that have any bearing on this, Doctor? Well, I don't know, Commander Sebastian, but obviously the Nile Empire does operate a variant of the Amethyst religions, only with 9 godheads, each one representing one of the 9 planets, Osiris being quite evident in his absence in this particular pantheon. Sebek is one of the large 9. I was doing information research with the Kali Station idol that was found previously, the one of Isis. Yeah, but he's not one of the main 9. You told me that yesterday. I know, I can't understand. Hang on. Dr. Sanders, this idol, is there anything else unusual about it?
I didn't actually look at it. I only heard what the other one said. Let me get someone else. Who was it?
I can't remember.
Abram.
Abram.
Is he?
He touched it and experienced stuff again. So did Theo.
Right, I'll just call the rest of you. Hey, come over here, you nincompoop. Beans.
I had vision, didn't I? I can't remember what the vision was.
Well, you had an overwhelming experience with there being so many different gods in a particular pantheon that you were having spiritual congress with. Durak, you touched the thing and experienced a vision of what you can probably only describe as the massed armies of Pharaoh Mobius marching somewhere. But you suspect that what Dr. Zytalius is getting at is possibly, to be told, the main element of unusualness about the statue, in that it actually emanates the reality of the Nile Empire. Yes, and you have a nice casserole. So I'll assume somebody tells Dr. Zytalius that. And whoever it is, decide who's telling him that.
That might be Theo telling him he's got a nice casserole.
Yeah,
That was ages ago. That was when I was trying to lure everyone up here.
Who tells him about the mixed zone, about the fact it emanates the Nile Empire?
I think Abram should, because Abram's the Nile Empire guy.
Oh, he's a Roche, but anyway, he does.
I'm enjoying your love.
Whoever it is gets halfway through their sentence when Dr. Zytalius essentially exclaims, "Gads, that's exactly the same as the Isis idol. That means there could be more of them. This is an important thing we need to study. Dr. Sanders, can you make sure to retrieve the idol and keep it with you?"
I think he wants you again, Doctor.
What? Sorry.
The idol. Can you make sure to recover it?
Yeah, sure. We'll probably head over there as soon as we can get this thing moving.
That's good, because we have intelligence from others that there may be more of these idols, and the best lead is probably in North Africa itself. Oh shit, Quinn Sebastian in the background. You want us to move these guys again? We just used up our resources getting the guys that should have been going to Australia out to the Ukraine, while these guys were sent down to the Yucatan. I know, Director Sebastian, but I mean,
Wait. Someone's going to Australia? Why are they going to Australia? What's going on in Australia?
No, they were coming from Australia.
Oh, okay. What were they doing in Australia?
They were assisting us in setting up one of the Delphi archives. We've been isolating. Is this line secure?
I
you look up, click a couple of buttons, and something changes, and you think to yourself, "Yep, might be now."
Probably.
We've been setting up a number of archives. The devices and the items that groups like yourselves and others have been finding across the world. We need somewhere safe to keep them and to research them. And at this point in time, a location, which I won't divulge even on a secure line, but it is within Australia, is relatively safe. So we've been moving some artifacts there. And Strike Team Delta were working on ensuring the security was up to scratch. And they were then re-shifted to take your Ukraine mission on board. But it sounds like you've retrieved this Zeppelin intact, yes?
Yep. Just barely managed to keep it from self-destructing, but yeah.
Okay, well, I think you're mobile then. And you hear in the background Twin Sebastian grumble, fine, they can make their own way wherever they need to go now.
Yay.
Well,
Africa.
yes. Do you need any intelligence about the lay of the land? I mean, what's the what kind of flight capacity has the vehicle you're in got? Can it handle reality storms? What's its distance, range?
I don't know.
All of this you have actually worked out, Dr. Dick, because when you were going through all of the various systems, you worked out the overall detail of all of that. Now, you're still not sure what the power source of this thing is. But it would seem that because none of the systems that you have found talk about fuel, that possibly it's either relatively unlimited or there aren't systems to track it. You're thinking at the moment on the, well, if not completely unlimited, then at least as infrequently requiring refueling as to not worry. But it's something in the back of your mind. So it's got a potential global range. It's got a top cruising speed of 100 kph. So with some quick maths in your head, if you went for a straight line route, you could probably get to North Africa in 7 days. However, you then realise that you've got something else at your disposal, which was that map again. Because you can use the map to decide what route you're taking, and specifically to decide which areas you are avoiding.
So we've got a little Zeppelin token.
You do have a little Zeppelin token. Now, at the moment, you're not sure how this thing will cope over the open sea, so you've got other considerations to take into account.
We'll be fine.
We got here, right?
It must be done. So if we share that again, so you're over here in Guatemala. All of the brown area, which you are currently within, represents regions held by Barakkar's forces with the living land. You could choose a more direct route, going through past Cuba, out into core Earth Puerto Rico. You would probably then either want to go just head completely due east until you hit Mauritania in Africa, or you could hedge your bets a little bit. You could head west slightly, travel hugging the coast down through Guatemala, Nicaragua, north coast Colombia, Venezuela, down to the easternmost cape of Brazil, at which point you could have a shorter sea voyage across to Guinea or Ghana, and then make your way across Africa towards Libya, or even hug the north coast if you wanted to. Because again, Mali, Algeria, Niger, Libya, well, the Sahara's in the middle of that. You're not entirely sure how this thing's going to cope in the desert, but you've got some consideration. Dr. Zitalis is perfectly happy to act as an advisory on this. He is just quite keen that you retrieve the idol and bring it wherever you're going. He even seems to hint that he will arrange for the other idol, the one of Isis, to be available. No, Thoth. Sorry, not Isis. I got the wrong thing. Thoth. It's the hawk-headed one.
Yeah,
To be made available so that you can have them both. He is quite keen that you spend some time studying these. Remember, he is an ex-student of yours, and while he has followed in some of your own theoretical physics research, he realizes that as far as this new area of science is concerned, that possibly you know a little bit more about field study on these things than he does. So at this point, all you really need to decide is Cuba, Puerto Rico, or Guatemala through Colombia and around the northern hub of Brazil. I mean, even if you went Puerto Rico route, you could still choose to go down to Venezuela, still go down the hub, and then skip across. A shorter journey over the Atlantic, considering the time of year. You're coming into September, it's in the autumn. I mean, the Gulf of Mexico, you've got bad situations in normal now, so you wouldn't want to go north regardless. But the North and South Atlantic can be quite choppy this time of year.
My vote is to go down to Brazil and hop over to Guinea.
Yeah, we should at least try to avoid green areas because that's going to possibly cause major issues.
Could do. I mean, one thing you will have, possibly in your favour, possibly not, but the dirigible will be, if the idol's on board, the dirigible will be in a consistent, at least partially in a consistent, mixed Nile Empire reality zone. So its technology should continue to function as long as you don't, as you say, go to areas that might cause it with issues such as the living land.
Well, that's what I reckon anyway.
You have a vote for following the spine down from Mexico, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and beyond, and then across to Guinea.
Perhaps if
Yeah,
we
let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
if we all have a vote and have like different options on the vote, and then what we could do to make it really fair is we do a percentage of each person's choice based on the final
You want
vote.
a second and third best choice, yeah?
Could do.
Alternate
Could
system,
do.
yeah?
Yeah.
What does Dirac think about that?
I think he hates me now. No, we'll go Brazil. We'll go Brazil one.
Okay. So you spend a few hours prepping. The gear that you've left stowed on the boat, on the catamaran, is retrieved, including two of you manhandling the idol, or if Ryoko's involved, possibly person handling the idol into place. You lash it down into a particular location, and you appear to have quite a lot of supplies here as well. Dr. Zetalius helps plan the route for you. Mindy informs you, I'll try and radio ahead down your route, but just bear in mind you might have to talk your way through some sovereign airspace. So just make sure we'll try to get Delphi clearance sorted, but I mean, you'll be leaving Mexico quickly, but it's in a state at the moment. I'm sure you've been following the news, but the government's basically collapsed. It's all being run by cartels now, which you found out yourself a couple of weeks back when you were encountering the village in Balakar. But it would seem that, according to Mindy's news reports, that has expanded nationwide. But otherwise, you should be fine until you get down to Colombia or Venezuela. We've been having more issues with them than anyone else. But just be ready to think on your feet if you get any situations going on down there. Is there anything else you might need before the journey's out? Information or news? Have you been following the news of late? Like war updates and the like?
no news of Gaia. If you've heard anything about,
Guys,
any more people,
that's your home world, isn't it, Abram?
please. Yes.
We are waiting for some responses from the Victorian consulates that have been set up, because we have been noting that there's been a significant increase in the number of, well, shall we say, Victorian expatriates turning up within the Indian subcontinent.
Yes, it is
There's
as
a,
I've
there's,
said.
I can't explain this, Abram, but our reports are saying that they're doing a lot of, well, there's a lot of activity in some Indian dockside areas, but the resources seem to leave the docks but never come back. So we don't exactly know what's going on there. If you want to hang on 2 seconds, I can get you a brief rundown of the important things that have happened in the last. We've been out there 20 days, 3 weeks. I'll see what I can find out.
That'd be helpful.
you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Give me 2 seconds, guys.
Do we wait for something special, or can we already fly our way down there?
It's up to you if you can fly us down there.
I think you can.
Yeah, you don't have to wait for Mindy to finish what she's doing before you can leave. But you've plotted a route, essentially, or you're starting to plot one.
All right, I'm plotting.
Now, as long as you've got the skill, until conditions worsen, I'm not necessarily going to make you roll for each and every step on the route, but just to see how well you go in the first instance, just give us a preliminary air vehicles roll. And I will warn you now, I am away from the keyboard briefly, so you'll have to tell me what it was.
It's what he usually rolls.
It was the best roll. It was a beautiful roll, the best one ever. You don't have to look.
Remember, I will be able to see it when I get back to the keyboard.
It's pretty much what he rolls most of the time.
However, remember, you are out of combat, so free trade of cards between your pools is advisable.
You can have a second.
I have a second chance myself.
You've already got your own second chance cards.
There's a question I'm going to ask.
I just kick it out.
Can you disengage? What's it, disengage?
Engage?
What do you call the thing when you roll a 1?
You can only get rid of a. You could, yeah. Well, he's not disconnecting because the technology is perfectly happy with both his tech axiom and you're in a Nile Empire zone at the moment. Although you are using weird science and you aren't from the Nile Empire, so it is potentially a 1 case. So if you did roll a 1 and you don't use second chance, you will have disconnected.
Yeah, but I did, and then I rolled a 6, and now I'm using a possibility. Jesus, come on!
Oh, he's back. We've missed you.
So
you got 14 in the end. Though.
I'm switching to the radio stations, and I'm looking for Toto, Africa. We're going there now.
There are enough rules there to confuse everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, I think I really should get to working on that autopilot.
What's the Abram rolling, by the way, for?
To hide the role that Ryoko did.
They were helping. You know what that is?
Well, you just rolled a 1
No, he
shot after him. Helping? I can't help in this situation in any way at all, unless you want me to punch the ship.
You can hang yourself out of one of the side and help me navigate or something. Be the ballast.
You majestically rise out of the jungle. You tack a course to the nearest storm front, and it is calm as you pass through. And then, keeping the clouds of gathered reality energy to your left, you head down and begin your days-long journey through the systems. Can somebody roll me a D20 as you pass over Guatemalan airspace? Thank you. Nicaraguan airspace, please. Okay. Colombian airspace. And finally, Venezuelan airspace.
Oh, it'll be someone else's turn. D20. Oh, I'll do it then. 5. Venezuela's going to be the one that gets us.
Okay. Well, both Colombian and Venezuelan airspace, you are... who's manning the radio at this point? Because you are, upon entering the airspace, you are challenged in the local language, which is then quickly flipped over to whichever appropriate. I think they'll both probably do French, French or Spanish quite easily. So if Theo is the one doing the talking, and you're not going to have any communications problems, but you are challenged. So in the appropriate language, it is identify the aircraft, identify yourself. You are entering the airspace of the People's Republic of Colombia. Apologies if it's not People's Republic, but it sounds better on the radio.
We are it's just passing through your airspace. This is Bad Dice. What's the name of our ship?
Well, your ship hasn't got a name at the moment.
The
you can name it now if you want to.
Bad Dice 1.
The Unreliable. No.
I mean, it was called the Dread Zeppelin by the Cloudmaster.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, I like Dread Zeppelin. Why not? It's Dread. We could have it a bit. It sounds a bit menacing, though, doesn't it?
Dread Zeppelin.
we could have it being a bit more cheery, though. Do you not think?
Fred Zeppelin? I don't know.
Fred.
But you've got a more official identification you've been given by the Delphi Council, which we can decide at a later point.
Okay.
Under whose authority do you travel into the Colombian airspace?
The Delphi Council.
Which is exactly what you've got. He asks you for any particulars, and now you can make us a... It depends what you're doing. Are you charming? Are you trying to blag your way through? Are you just simply being persuasive?
Oh, persuasive. Persuasion and charm, the same thing. I'm persuasive anyway. I even put points in persuasion, especially.
Yeah, no. Persuasion, you're trying to convince them, whereas charm, you're trying to Bob Monkhouse your way into their hearts.
Nothing wrong with Bob Monkhouse, man. The guy's a legend.
Smug, charm.
He had more one-liner jokes than anyway.
Oh, it was ridiculous. Man was a ledge.
Oh, check me out. Oh, smooth.
You are barely a blip on their radar. You get into your stride, you pull the details out that you've got, and you also begin to sort of politely or nicely browbeat the person on the other end, taking a little bit of the route. It's a very important mission we're on. I wouldn't want to be the person that stops us doing it. And you manage to work your way through. The same sort of thing happens when you get to Venezuelan airspace, as you expected. So you're confronted by the same thing. Do you follow the same tack?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Give us another persuasion check then to see if you can do the same tactic as you go through.
Okay. Wasn't there some scandal about Bob Monkhouse? Or was there someone else?
There was probably lots of scandal about lots of people.
I hope not. Okay, anyway.
Okay. Give us another roll.
Uh-huh.
And finally a third one. Now, the result of this one will determine if somebody has to get onto the guns or not.
Yeah, it's the Air Force coming. Don't worry, folks. What I'll do is I'll smooth it all over, and they're obviously religious here, so I'll throw a bit of religious stuff in. God bless, and oh God, no, they're obviously quite like atheist or something.
Are you going to spend anything on that last roll? Because
yeah,
what's basically happened is he refuses to accept the authority on the first one. He challenges you again on the second one, and while you are stuttering and trying to get your confidence back, you do hear someone in the background mention jets scrambling.
Oh God, great. Does a 10 work or not?
A 10 would be enough. Actually, no, because you failed twice. You're going to need at least a 12, I'm going to say, on this one.
It's a possibility then. Oh, unless... Does anybody want should we get everyone 2 possibilities? Because I could play mistaken identity and then they mistake me for like some escaped, criminal or something.
Depends. I mean, we're going to get new ones pretty soon anyway.
Oh, I'll just spend a possibility.
Okay.
Oh no, I've got to work this out again. My dice total 6. I think.
Yeah, your die total 6. Your skill is whatever your persuasion is, and then you put the die total in the second box.
There we go. Is that better?
Yep. You are going through, and then you suddenly remember something, and I don't know if you're secretive on this or not, but if you are, you make sure no one else is in the room doing it. But otherwise, you realise it's going a bit south, and you decide to try something you haven't tried yet. And you reach into your pocket and you pull out your identification, and you basically invoke the Pope.
Yeah.
And you give them your Vatican Secret Service identification, and the guy on the other end just shuts down, apologizes, and just says, it's as if you were never here, Padre. It's my apologies.
Oh, no need. You're just doing your job. God bless you, my son.
Okay. And in the remainder of your journey south, only 2 things of note happen. The first is that whoever on maybe about day 4 or 5 of the trip is in the control room. It might be you, Dr. Sanders, we don't know. But you're fiddling around with the setting because it's showing the big map. And actually decide who it is. If it's not Dr. Dick, decide who it is that's fiddling around.
Who else likes to fiddle? I mean, it's probably not.
Abram.
I mean, I'm flying, so.
You are.
Abram's a fiddler.
Yeah. Basically, okay, whoever it is, you're playing around with, and you notice that there's a zoom function on the map. You managed to work out what it is. So you're zooming in, and as you zoom in, it's not really a resolution because of the way the display is, but it seems that you get to a greater detail view. And you're in that area you're almost right on the bit where you're going to be heading out from Natal, then sort of like east-northeast out across the Atlantic. And it's only there for about 3 or 4 minutes. They fade after a time. But you watch on this map as in those 3 areas, little points of pale purple light or pale purple colour resin move a little bit, no more than maybe a mile or so in any given direction, and then blip out again. Theo, as you're possibly the one looking, or anyone who is looking, you can give me a scholar check.
Oh, I'm going to have to start getting some of these skills. And another mind one. Oh, I don't know. I just think they look like pink dots.
No.
Avon didn't do very well. Dr. Dick did well. You can't get them on the screen at the same time to be absolutely certain, Doctor, but when it's brought to your attention and you look at it, and especially they disappear after a few minutes, you do notice that they are matching the color coding of the regions for the cyber papacy in France.
Oh.
But they're not there for long. And as I said, they disappear after a few minutes anyway. And by the time you've managed to ascertain what they are or where they're looking, you're going in the direction of Natal's.
That's what
and the second thing that happens is you get to the point when you're going to be heading out over into the Atlantic. And in fact, you do. Maybe a third of the way into your voyage. It's been a stormy few hours prior to night. You've managed to get yourself on a particular course. And Ryoko, you have decided, you make the decision either to keep going in a particular direction or to stop for the night. So on this particularly stormy evening, you've decided to stop. So you're at moored holdings, maybe about 100, 150 feet off the water. Rain is pattering on all of the windows, and by next week we'll decide who's in what room. But whichever room Durak is in, Durak, you're sat up. You've been carving away at some runic work that you're having to work on. And it's quite good. The lights on this thing, they're quite good. They give a nice sort of soft but pure light to sketch from. And it's just dark otherwise. And you hear a noise in the corridor and you look up, get up, you look around. Well, there's no one else. All the others, all their doors are closed. And the light in your room dims ever so slightly. You turn and something dives out of the wall through you. And that's what we'll pick it up next week.
Something like shadowy and
something shadowy. You can just about make out. Actually, before I do that, Derek, give us a fine check if you're there.
Fine check, no problem. You have to remember, my armor affects incorporeal.
I know it doesn't.
Okay, fine check.
Ooh. In the seconds before it engulfs and flows over and around you, you saw two dim blue pinpricks of light at about what would be humanoid head height. But it just passes over you into the corridor beyond and disappears. And you go, and you sniff, and you can smell rotten eggs.
Ah.
And that's where we'll leave it.
It's Theo cooking again.
My casserole was very nice, I'll have you know.
It wasn't your casserole.
That was why it was nice.
And as that is the end of a mini act, because the first scene was the Dread Zeppelin. The second scene, which you didn't actually do, is called The Edges of the Map, which was just the journey, but there were some potential encounters on the journey. And then 1.3 is the act was called Miracles or Malfeasance, because if we'd had time in this session, you could have investigated the purple dots, but you know of their existence at this point, and that's enough. And that's essentially a mini act, so everyone can have 5 XP.
Yay!
5 for a mini act?
Well, it's 5 for an act, so it's an act. Durak, you are now 2 points towards regaining your reality add. 2 more acts, and you'll get it back. And next week, we do something a little bit Halloween-y.
I'm going to buy some swatties.
I wonder, have you any clues? Would there be any ghosts involved with blue eyes?
Nope, we can put it out next week.
Right.
I shall turn off the stream. Thank you for watching, adoring fans.
Thank you, guys.
We've gone through the whole session and we haven't insulted anyone. How good's that?
What?
Alex isn't trying hard enough.
Have you seen Alex's famous rolls?
I'm a nice guy.